thank you all for being here today and for the opportunity you've given me to hopefully encourage you all to advocate for a major community issue that is happening in the Reno and Sparks areas. My name is Emma Schiller. I am a social work major at UNR. I'm taking a class in oral communications this semester, and a major part of my grade is delivering speeches to an audience surrounding a variety of speech techniques. Today I will be giving you a persuasive speech surrounding the direct effect that the developments of Tesla and Apple east of town have had a negative impact on our community. With that being said, I'd like you all to put yourselves in the following scenario. You've lived in Reno your whole life. You've been a perfect tenant to your landlord. You've paid at most $800 a month. However, despite all of that, you now find yourself in a situation where you don't know where to go or how to get by. You are either going to have to pay $1,100 for rent or be challenged with finding another apartment. However, most apartments in the area are also rising to that cost, even for a studio. What do? Where do you go? Who do you ask for help? Is there a plan in place? Where does that leave you? So with that all being said, and you guys putting yourselves in that situation, I would like to give you some background information on how our community has gotten to this point and what's led us to this point. In 2016, the Tesla deal finalized. A Reno Gazette-Journal article was very pertinent in revealing this to the area, stating that by the end of 2016, it would bring positive effects such as 1,700 jobs coming to the area, by the end of 2016, with a total of over 22,000 jobs once the whole entire factory was up and running. However, by the end of 2016, only 331 jobs were attained. So what was once thought to be a very positive aspect of Tesla coming, while there were more jobs created, the actualities of that were very slim. The controversial piece of this was tax incentives, with Elon Musk being promised over $1.3 billion. I'd like you all to please take a look at the following slide, showing what a big bet this is in terms of tax incentives and how this will affect our state as a whole. Moreover, according to another Reno Gazette-Journal article, Apple also went over the City Council in May of 2017, getting the approval to take advantage of over millions of dollars in tax abatements in terms of developing their warehouse further, and as what was already a large warehouse. This also focused on creating more jobs for the area, promising 100 permanent jobs and 300 construction jobs. Both of these focused on jobs, which is a great positive aspect adding to our community. However, not much thought went into how that would affect the influx of people coming to the area and the effect on housing. So with that being said, these two huge decisions have had a major negative impact on hundreds within our community and caused a huge housing crisis. According to an article in The Atlantic, a report done by the Economic Planning Indicator Committee stated Northern Nevada was expected to add 50,000 jobs between 2014 and 2019. With that being said, the Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada stated that with that much jobs coming into the area, it would require an additional 5,000 homes minimum per year to sustain the population coming in. This also highlighted in the article the huge increase in rent and how that's impacting the citizens throughout our community as a direct result of these two huge developments coming to the area. According to an article in the Washington Post, which highlighted the following image, as you can see on the screen here, Reno is now being considered a boom town again. But sadly, with that being said, people throughout the community are being forced to live in weekly motels much like the one shown, or also with an increase in homeless shelters overflowing, the homeless population increasing, and an increase in camps along the Truckee River. A couple that was interviewed for the article stated that they are not concerned with keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak, but rather just having a roof over their head and a place to live at night. Furthermore, an article in The Guardian describes the article as all humanity leaving the area, which if that's what we want to consider being a boomtown, I think that's a very sad thing that our community is facing and we have to come to terms with. Even though it may be considered a boomtown again, it's also really, really harshly impacting the citizens that live in our community. A citizen interviewed in the Guardian article described living in a motel for $700 a month that she lived in for 10 years. She now can't afford it, so she's now living in a weekly motel for $800 a month and says she's barely getting by, but she's also grateful for the opportunity and the availability of that motel, otherwise she would have nowhere to go. All in all, with no improvement happening surrounding this major issue, I encourage you all to voice your concerns and speak to high officials throughout the community, local governments, attend Reno and Sparks City Council meetings, county commission meetings, go to events that are happening in our local areas and try to voice what is going on and what you see as a citizen throughout the community, because without that, there's not really a solution in place, as it's such a difficult issue of housing. So it's huge that we voice our concerns, we advocate for others, and we want to redefine what a boomtown is for Reno. There's so much focus on Reno being a boomtown again and all the jobs coming into the area, which is huge. That's a great positive. However, studies have shown that most of the jobs are being received by out-of-state people. So for those living in our community, they're faced with, what do we do, where do we go? And when you put yourselves back in those shoes of being that citizen that's lived here their whole life and they have nowhere to live now, it redefines what a boomtown should be, and I'd like to ask you all to help me redefine that, advocate for others, attend meetings like I said, and hopefully create the boomtown image we all would like to represent Nevada as. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not at 5 minutes.